Good morning.
Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the McConnell at YouTube with another event. The Australian Model Expo 2022, June 17th to 19th, Sandown Racecourse. An event we have covered for many years on this channel and has been absent for 2 years, 2021, due to the pandemic. I attended as a trader this year with the Salt Mine Hobby Shop, mostly selling in the main hall second-hand, not quite right junk and bags of spare parts with affordable tools and more alternative and harder to get vintage or Chinese imported models. Plus a collection of anime and general toys, trains and bits and pieces that's come through the door. I take pride in being a junk dealer for scratch builders.
I guess we'll start. You can all hear my voice okay?
My second activity was invited to host a panel on 3D printing and decided to do a more question-answer session to see where the knowledge of everyone was at, which was absolute basic or touching on filament printing. I covered more on sourcing models, files, drafting and designing. Now for the event review. Model Expo is organised by a complete voluntary committee sourced via various hobby clubs, including the IPMS, who are all passionate and very talented hobbyists to create an event by hobbyists for hobbyists. The funding is purely collected from industry, import traders, the attendees, people entering, and donations alike. Volunteers and judges are also sourced within the community, so everyone is displaying, competing, and socialising. It is the biggest hobby event on the calendar year in Australia, and many like to travel to attend it. It has been quite disappointing that it hasn't occurred for the past 2 years, though ran out of concern and safety, especially for the venue rulings, plus how some of the attendees are elderly and more prone to becoming sick. It has been a big struggle, and am extremely grateful that it managed to come through a great cost, effort and waste, though the committee has pulled off and put something together to assure that the event will continue to go for many years. There was many changes compared to previous years, but that's due to the chaos of the events and conference industry being shaken up and occupying all sorts of different slots, making it unable to run at its traditional time on the Queen's weekend birthday. There was also a record amount of models on display, leading to a rearrangement of the islands and a few controversial rules, including clubs not being able to man their booths behind directly. Overall, there was very little controversy or issue, and the event ran quite smoothly and successfully according to all who has taken part. In the chaos and organisation, it was a bit nerve-wracking. As a trader, on the Friday it was initially very quiet, though eventually all the usual faces and people who were passionate and wanted to attend or enter did end up turning out, and there was enough to a record over 900 models on display and people coming through the door. The layout was the usual affair of traders on the outer tables darting around the hall walls. Mine was right next to the entry, with the inter-islands, 8 in total, snaking around with all the various entries and club displays. Categories are expansive and break down to very niche subjects for everyone to have a chance to have a go, enter what they like, win and compete as fairly as possible. The entry process was a bit different, where you were able to register your model online and use a QR system to avoid scrutineering and bring and display your model directly, cutting back a lot of time and volunteer resources. This was quite successful. With the surplus time everyone had on their hands during the lockdowns, their clubs and competition entries went quite hard, with a mass amount of very high quality, very detailed work to come and have a look at. My tip in attending or coming to these hobby shows is it's completely interactive, and you should definitely more so participate than just watch. There is a reason why that entry as an attendee in the competition to just a visitor is quietly different. I recommend some people to just bring a basic burner model, pay the $5 or $3 entry, and spend the whole weekend there. Eventually you get so inspired and into it, you want to enter more and participate and get involved a lot more. If you take the competition very seriously, I also recommend volunteering as a judge, as the insights in training up and being a judge and scrutineering other models and displays gives you an insight of exactly what they're looking for if you're trophy hunting, all the way down to in just being inspired and improving as a hobbyist and opening a new network of friends and contacts. On my behalf, I want to give a big thank you to the volunteers and the committee for putting their countless hours, money and volunteering efforts in making this happen. I'm glad that it's occurred, and I will come and give it full support next year. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. And if you are in Melbourne at the time, it is an absolute must to come along. See you later.